We've got some kids right outside. Can you hear us? Hear them? Okay. Laying on the playground.
Oh, nice. It's a perfect
Yeah.
day for that.
Yeah.
That's great. I'll get us started at 12:03. So basically in 60 seconds.
All right.
I think I will get us started and introduce our panelists. Welcome to Families Together's virtual panel discussion with our strategic community partner, Harmony Housing Affordable Development. I'm Kelly Nutty, Director of Development and Communications at Families Together. We are a Raleigh-based nonprofit with a mission to assist families with children as they transition from homelessness to sustainable housing and stable homes. 2 years ago, Families Together joined forces with Harmony Housing Affordable Development on the Newbern Crossings project. It's a 192 unit affordable housing community, including 40 permanent supportive housing units. As the future on-site support services coordinator, we will connect residents with holistic services that empower them to build long-term stability at that development. This event will be recorded for future viewing. Near the presentation, we'll have an opportunity for questions. You can type your questions in the Q&A box or raise your hand and we'll unmute your speaker. Thank you so much for being here. I am so delighted to facilitate this discussion. We do have a full agenda, so I'm going to hand it over to our panelists to introduce themselves and their organizations and dive in. And Jennifer, if we could start with you, Families Together, and then we'll go to Elena for introductions.
Okay. Thanks, Kelly. Appreciate that. Um, Hello, everybody. Thank you for joining us today. My name is Jennifer Paul. I am the Executive Director at Families Together. And as Kelly said, our mission is to help families transition from a time of experiencing homelessness to permanent housing where they obtain stable homes and sustainable housing. We actually are celebrating our 45th anniversary in the community in Wake County this year. And at Families Together, we believe every family deserves a home and children should never have to wonder where they're going to sleep at night. We operate emergency shelter where we prioritize families that would be most at risk of being separated in traditional shelters. We also offer transitional housing, and we own a few permanent affordable rental units. Ultimately, we're working with families to help them access permanent housing in the community. And then we go on to work with them after signing a lease in their own names for a year up to even 18 months, providing holistic wraparound support with a team of case managers that we call mentor advocates who help each family obtain that long-term support and achieve successful long-term housing outcomes. So we're very, very excited about the opportunity to be here today to share a little bit about what we're doing in the community. I've been with Families Together for 10 years, 8 years as a development director, and most recently the last two as executive director. And it has been very, very exciting to watch Newbern Crossings grow from the ground up and in our neighborhood. So just a little over the hill from us, this beautiful new development is taking shape. and we're excited to be able to share a little bit about it with you here today.
Thank you, Jen. And I'll give it over to Elena to introduce herself and her organization.
Thank you, Kelly. Thank you, Jennifer. I am so honored to be here. I appreciate you thinking of me and asking me to come have this conversation with you. I'm Elena Johnfertone. I'm the Vice President of Asset Management at Harmony Housing Affordable Development. We were formerly known as Greystone Affordable Development, so some of those who are listening in might recognize that name, but I think about 2 years ago, we had some restructuring of our organization, and so we're now known as Harmony Housing Affordable Development. And we always say it's the same company essentially, just under a different name, same group of talent, just different name. And we are one of the largest real estate developers of affordable housing developments in the United States. And our mission is very well aligned with the Families Together group in that we want to positively impact as many communities as we can across the country by either creating new or preserving existing quality affordable housing for low wealth households. I've been here for about 12 years, I think a little over 12 years, and I have just been at the company since my entry level position and have worked my way up. I didn't really know what I was getting into when I got hired, but I've found that I really love working in affordable housing, not just real estate development. The layer of the affordable housing and the helping of the other people and the helping the communities come together is something that just keeps me engaged at this position, and I love it. I become active in our deals after the real estate and financial closings happen. So from the start of construction is when I really become project managing, and then through when the properties stabilize. And I've worked in all facets of the deals and all stages of the deals in my tenure at Harmony Housing. But I have found that I really love this particular phase because I get to see like in real time the work that's being done, whether it's like from the ground up, like Jennifer was saying about our New Burn new build, or we do a lot of rehabs as well. And so seeing the transformations that can happen, it's so exciting to me. And I always say, like, it's at this point in the development when we're no longer just doing projections and like calculating numbers. We're actually out here making it happen. Um, it keeps me engaged. I love it. So thanks again for having me.
That's amazing. Thank you, Elena. And we'll stay with you. Can you paint us a picture as we get into this conversation about New Bern Crossings? Tell us about the development. What kinds of amenities or community spaces might there be in the design, and get us started on doing that deep dive.
Sure. New Bern Crossings is what the development name is. It's a very exciting project. Like we said, it's a new construction project. It currently is actually still under construction, very active. I think it's around 50% complete. It's located on New Bern Avenue in Raleigh, and when it's complete, it'll be 192 units serving family populations. There's going to be a combination of 1, 2, and 3 bedroom units. And it's going to be actually very well amenitized. We've got an exercise room, a laundry room, a computer center, a playground, a large playground from what I remember, as well as a lot of different like indoor and outdoor seating areas. I think there's porches, there's park benches, there's indoor seating. So those are kind of like the physical amenities. But then in addition to those kind of like more common amenities that you see at developments, one of the things that we're excited about and what we're partnering with Families Together on is the supportive services that are also going to be included as kind of an amenity to this development. So we have strategically designed the plans to include spaces for a bunch of different types of wellness support services. So we've got some conference rooms, we've got private one-on-one meeting rooms in case there's any sort of health and wellness checks, or we could use it for any type of supportive services. And I think there's a couple other areas that are plotted out where we're going to use it for like clinical services. It's going to be a good development.
Wow. Yes, sounds like it's going to be really an active piece of property when it's fully realized. Can you tell me, Elena, a little bit and tell the audience a little bit about what community needs or gaps that Harmony Housing Affordable Development is trying to address when this project was conceived and began?
Sure. I think that being overburdened by rental expenses is not just an issue specific to this community. I think it's nationwide. You might even say worldwide. But that's like really our mission is to alleviate populations being overburdened by too high of an expense that they have to pay just to live somewhere, right? And live somewhere nice. So I think that's the main need that we are trying to address. And I was looking up some recent studies and I found a report that indicated that specifically in Raleigh and Wake County, homelessness is increasing at an approximated rate of 8% every year. And so we think that affordable housing is an initiative that when the local government supports you, which they have in this case, it really can alleviate that issue in the community, and bring viable solutions for people who are otherwise barely able to make ends meet.
Thank you. Thank you for that. Want to turn it over to Jennifer for a bit. Can you talk about how this partnership between the two organizations came about?
Sure. Yeah, I'd be happy to. I'm excited to, hear Elena paint the picture of what it looks like and is coming to look like now. But if you think back, or we think back about actually 9 years ago, this was a vacant, undeveloped 20 plus acre plot of land near downtown Raleigh in East Raleigh, really close to Families Together. So we consider it our neighborhood. The owner of that property was a Families Together supporter. And when he decided to sell, he originally came to Families Together and gave us the option to buy it. We seriously looked at it, and we even I look back and at some old emails. We met with a landscape architect, urban planner, some other professionals in the area to advise us. Ultimately, we, realized this was really beyond our scope and our areas of, our skill set. But we also, at the same time, or a few years after that, we had gone through strategic planning and launched initiative around affordable housing and to increase our role in advocacy in the community. So we began having more conversation with potential partners, and one conversation with a local affordable housing developer eventually led to what was then Greystone and then became Harmony Housing. And they were the ones that took the lead to create this affordable housing development. They, at the time of their developing the plans for this, they reached out to us and asked if we would be the support services coordinator for the site. We agreed to that and said, we thought about it as this is our neighborhood. We want to see this develop into affordable housing. And we felt we could lend our expertise to help make that possible. So that's how it got to start.
Wow, thank you for sharing that, Jen. So what about this partnership is unique or interesting from a Families Together perspective?
Yeah, I mean, from our perspective, I think we kind of started to touch on it. It blends our unique expertise, the unique expertise of each organization. Families Together as we'll bring our expertise in housing stabilization, support services, our connections to community resources from across the community. We already have pre-existing partnerships with dozens of other agencies that will be able, we envision coming on site to offer services at New Bern Crossings. And and New Bern Crossing, I mean, and Harmony Housing obviously has this expertise as one of the largest affordable housing developers in the country.
Yeah, really a great model of partnership for the future for not only these organizations but others to think about how to work in collaboration to solve community issues. Elena, I think you did touch on the scope and timeline of Newbern Crossings, but I think we talked about construction began last year. And could you tell us a little about and you mentioned where we are now, when is completion expected, and how will buildings be phased in?
Sure. The construction began last year in February 2024, and it's expected to be completed by the end of the year, full completion. However, there are multiple buildings on the site, and we're going to kind of complete or turn them over, we say, to property management for lease up in phases. So I think it'll be about 2 to 3 buildings at a time. And it's looking like the first group of buildings that's going to be completed, and also including the community building. So the community building and first couple of residential buildings, probably towards the end of September. So starting in the fall, we'll be leasing up units, and we're so excited about that. As far as the scope of it, it's a $34 million construction contract. And I think hard costs are looking like about 118,000 per unit. So it's a great development. And when you drive by it or go visit it, it was designed to look every bit of market rate rental housing, right? Way back, it seemed like you would be able to pick out easily, like just by sight, oh, that's an affordable development. But over the years, we've redesigned things or rethought the design to make it such that the affordable housing should not be an eyesore in the community, right? It should be welcomed and accepted by the community. So it's a beautiful design, and like I said, it's going to look every bit of market rate. The tenants deserve that.
Oh, thank you. I can't wait to see it finish. It looks beautiful. I drive by it every day, and it's going up so quickly too. So kudos to your team. So we talked about 192 units. They'll serve families. Can you tell me more about those families, and perhaps like how are they coming to, and some of the units are specially designated, right?
That's right. So we're targeting families with incomes of 30% to 60% of area median income. And the referral sourcing will come from a couple of different places. So actually, in our partnership with Families Together, one of the things that we've talked about a couple of times is wanting Newbern Crossings to be a place where people in your program can land. So that is excellent. And we would love to have that. We will use that referral source coming from you guys as well. And then we've got supportive housing vouchers from Wake County. So they will provide a referral source as well. And then lastly, we've got a really great management agent on this project. We're working with KHEC Management. And they do the best at getting units filled and developing their own referral sources. So they'll kind of come from all over, but as long as they fit within that 30% to 60% AMI, and fill out all the, qualifying paperwork, those are kind of the populations we're targeting.
Oh, fantastic. Thank you. And Jennifer, switching gears back to the support services coordinator, can you talk a little bit about do a little deeper dive on what kind of services Families Together will provide on site? What are you most looking for regarding the Families Together role?
Yeah, so Families Together will have staff on site in the community building that Elena described, where there will be a room for a computer lab, a fitness area, a one-on-one meeting space, a large group meeting space. So we will have staff on site that will be designing support services programming for the residents. And we're envisioning bringing on services like health and wellness checks, behavioral health services, computer classes, GED classes, financial literacy and empowerment classes, also some social and recreational opportunities, maybe, community picnics and that kind of thing. We also potentially could have a community garden there. So we're looking to have a range of of support services that we'll be bringing on site, offering to the families who are living in at Newbern Crossings. We also will have the opportunity to invite the families that are in our program who are living nearby to take advantage of those resources as well. So we would also be offering some workshops on like landlord tenant, rights and responsibilities, fire safety, and how to make sure you're taking good, protected, well protected. And so it'll be a range of services. We're looking forward to being there, kind of the eyes and ears on the ground, working side by side with KHEC. We've already started meeting with them as well as with Elena and her team to start to plan for the opening.
Wow, it sounds like a really broad range of services and really as a development for families, families come in different sizes. So it sounds like there's going to be a lot of diversity of size and type of families. So meeting the needs of that diverse resident population, sounds like we have, Families Together has all their bases covered with social and emotional, very concrete engagement, as well as safety and landlord-tenant relationships. So that's amazing. Really a question for both of you as we switch gears to community engagement. And maybe we'll start with Elena, is how has the local community responded to this project so far?
We've gotten support from both the city and the county. They're actually both funders of this development. So the combination of city and county funding is in excess of $8 million. So their support has been great, and I believe they were in attendance at our groundbreaking. I'm sure we'll invite them to our grand opening when that occurs, and just getting the faces out there from the community. We appreciate that support.
And Jennifer, with your engagement, how has the local community responded to our involvement with Newbern Crossings or the development in general?
Yeah, so I think it's really fair to say that affordable housing is an issue that's top of mind for so many people in our community. It's in the news on a regular basis that we have a deficit, a need for more affordable housing that now is over 65,000 units, I believe, that is disproportionately impacting low-income families and extremely low-income families, which is exactly what the population this project will target. So the response that I'm hearing is very, very positive. People are wanting action, want to see more units being built and to address this need and to provide quality housing like Newbern Crossings will offer. Is also, I think, something that people are excited about, as well as the nature of this collaboration, that we're working strategically and partnering, not duplicating effort, not going out, outside of our mission, but staying within our mission, partnering with experts who really have the capacity to bring this kind of resource to our community and grow from here. And that's overwhelmingly positive response.
Excellent. And let's see. Elena, going back to you, were there any misconceptions about affordable housing that you've had to address, particularly, in general or related to this project in particular?
Oh, yeah, of course. When I started my career at what was then called Greystone Affordable Housing, even my parents didn't really understand what affordable housing was, and I feel like they had a negative bias against it, as a lot of people do. They kind of just thought like affordable housing is only for people who want a handout, right? But the reality is that there are so many hardworking individuals that have legitimate jobs that still have a really hard time making ends meet. And I mean, I understandably so, right? You go to the grocery store and it's astronomical, the prices just in general. So I think that the misconception was that it's just for kind of like the people in society that we don't want around and we don't want in our communities, but that is not true. It's for like the everyday hardworking people that just need a good place to live.
Yeah, thank you for that. And Jen, do you have anything to add to that?
Um, well, I think, I would echo what Elena is saying. Um, there's often there's a disconnect between having that, how this can help the whole community. Affordable housing, creates safer neighborhoods and where people are all stably housed and kids are thriving, it's going to benefit everyone in our community when we can provide that stable housing and make sure that everyone is being able to make all ends meet instead of paying 50% or more of their income on their housing, they're going to be paying 30% of their income on housing, and then that will make it possible um, to have that sustainable housing and provide those stable homes for their kids to go on to thrive.
Thank you. Another question for both of you, and we can go back to Elena first. So, we have lease up starting in the fall and full completion in at the end of the year. So once the first family start moving in, like what does success look like for them? And the community?
That's a good question. I think kind of echoing what Jennifer was saying as well, I think success looks like stability in the tenants' lives, right? So if they don't have to spend so much of their income just to put a roof over their heads, that's success. They can then be productive members of society, right? They can then um live good lives as they're deserving of. And so I think having a safe and decent, affordable place to call home alleviates a lot of undue stress by being overburdened by rental costs and housing costs. And I mean, ultimately is serving both of our missions, right? Improving the quality of lives.
Yeah. And Jennifer, as those first families start moving in, from the perspective of as the support services coordinator, what does success look like?
I mean, similarly, a stable place to call home. I think, a welcoming environment, one where kids have a warm bed to sleep in and and a roof overhead, where they feel a sense of belonging and, welcome in this community and have a sense of ownership in developing the community long term so that they have a voice in creating this positive, thriving environment and meeting, kind of helping them achieve their long-term goals, their hopes and dreams, and and then extending that out to the neighbor, the
Yeah.
community around surrounding.
Thank you. I have a few more questions for you. But audience, please, if you have questions you want to think about, please start jotting those down and putting them in the Q&A box or raising your hand, and we can put you on unmute if you would like to speak, as we get to that place in the next couple minutes. So another question for both of you, and I do want to start with Jennifer. So we've talked about the support services coordination that Families Together will provide, but take us vision us out a year from now, or maybe a year from the of December. So it's late 2026. What does it mean that Families Together is on site day to day, and not from the services, but talk me through what that coordinator and or coordinators and intern perhaps will be doing to really build community, and how will their presence build that community?
Yeah, so the services coordinators will have actually we plan to have a full-time and a part-time staff people who will be serving in the role of support services coordination. And they'll be tapping into the resources and the expertise of our full team of over 10 housing and family services staff members. But they'll be the team there will be the eyes and ears on the ground. They'll be working side by side with the property management company, being able to help navigate maybe challenging, unique situations that may arise with residents. They'll also be providing some insights for the case managers who are coming on site and working with the families who have those permanent supportive housing vouchers. They'll be able to, provide some additional context of what might be happening on the ground with these individuals and families, and make it, so that we're able to provide that really holistic support by building community there on the ground with our team, offering these support services, and getting to know families one-on-one. I think that's one of the unique things about Families Together, is that we really work, and I see this as a natural extension of the work that we're already doing. It's getting to know each family on an individual basis, building relationships that are based on trust, giving them a voice in the decision making. So about how this community grows over time. And from there, we're gonna, I think, see that this model, our idea here is that this is a model and that we could replicate it. And so by bringing our unique expertise, which is something that is required for the financing of this project, to have support services coordination on site. And while demonstrating the model, we're hoping that will inspire others, potentially other affordable housing developers, to build more housing here in our community and work with Harmony Housing on future projects in Wake County as well.
Nice. Thank you for that. Yeah, it sounds like really we're going to be supporters, encouragers, and partners with the family, much like we're in that type of relationship with Harmony Housing Affordable Development. So really, it's a win-win all around. Elena, from your perspective, what does it mean for Families Together to be on site daily for the 192 families that will be living there?
Yeah, so Harmony Housing is in the ownership of New Bern. This is one of our projects that we're building. So from the owner's perspective, we're really excited about having the on-site service coordinator. And we talked about this being like a templatable model to use for future projects. But if you think about it, New Bern Crossings is kind of like version 1.0, right? It's the first one we're doing this. So we, to my knowledge, don't have any other developments in which we've had such a focused and dedicated specific role on site as someone who is only there to create community, to provide activities and to provide services that benefit and improve the community. But we wanted this, and we're excited about this because what we believe, and I think research has shown, is that the better we build a community, the better it is for everybody, right? So it's better for the tenants. Everybody wants to have a good community, not just somewhere to have a roof over their head, but like to actually feel a sense of community. COVID taught us how much we missed that, right? So glad to be past all that and able to have people commingling together and interacting together again. So having that good community will give people a sense of pride in their home. But then as from the ownership side of things, having tenants who love where they live, that word of mouth kind of spreads, right? So people will love the community and say good things about the community, and people will want to live in this community. And that's our hope for it. We want to create a really good product, and having the encouragers and the support system helps us to do just that, create a good product for the community. And then, we would expect to have a stable occupancy and expect to have a community that doesn't get trashed and always looks nice, right? Because people are going to have a sense of pride in this. And so this financially should be beneficial as well too. We're going to have stable occupancy. We'll be able to capture a consistent revenue stream, and then the whole thing comes full circle, right? We can then have more income to reinvest, to build other projects, to keep like giving back.
Yeah, thank you for, yeah, right. That will beget other projects and other collaborations and other support for other communities. Your comment about COVID really resonated with me because yes, we sought out community, and having seen this development go up right down the street from my office and visited its location and the way it's designed really will provide that community piece, right? Allow people to engage and get to know their neighbors and just enjoy life together. So thank you for that. We do have questions coming in, so keep putting them in the Q&A, and we'll get to them in a couple minutes. Elena, I understand there is a live cam of the project site. I don't know if that's something you'd be able to share with the audience at this time.
I can give me some grace while I
Oh
get
yeah, take your time.
We all know about technical issues.
Okay, can you see that?
Yes.
So this is our site, our beautiful site. We're so excited about it. This building in the front. Can you see my mouse moving?
Yes.
I can.
Okay. So this building in the front is the community building. And then, like I was saying, there's multiple buildings on the site and we're phasing the completion. So as it seems, these in the back are going to be the first ones completed, and should be leasing up in the fall. And then they'll continue construction and kind of go around the community and finish up by the end of the year. And I think the design is beautiful. The exteriors are looking really beautiful. The interiors are not quite as far along. I can't like double click in to show you the interiors anyways. But once complete, it's going to be a really good community.
Oh, fantastic. Wow. Yes, it looks beautiful. And yes, I remember hearing from when I was visited the site that they're really nice finishes inside, the appliances, and it's just going to be a comfortable place for so many families.
For sure.
So before we get to questions, is there anything else you'd like to say about the partnership, New Bern Crossing, that I didn't cover?
Well, we've probably covered it, but I'll echo it. We really appreciate the partnership with Families Together and being able to work together in this way. Like I said, it's the first time for a development that I know of that we've had a designated supportive services coordinator, especially from another organization. So you guys are the experts in what you do, and you collaborated with us as the development experts. And I think it's going to be a really good yield when it's all said and done.
Oh, well, thank you. Thank you for that.
Yeah, and I would say the same. I mean, we're thrilled to have this opportunity to partner with Harmony Housing. And as I said, it is right in our neighborhood. Another big advantage of where it's located is that it is on New Bern Avenue, which is where the bus rapid transit corridor will be going. So everyone will have easy access to good public transportation and other amenities nearby, like Wake Med is really close by. So good medical care, grocery stores, schools are all very close to this location. It's something we want to see with affordable housing, that it's near the amenities that people need to get to.
Great, thank you. And we do have several questions. So I think Danielle is going to turn on her mic to repeat those questions for you all to answer.
Yes, thank you everybody who has joined us today, and I appreciate the questions that I'm getting through the Q&A. I will try to also monitor anybody who's raising their hands, but I'm going to start off with this one. Somebody who's wanting a little bit more clarity on how residents are coming to Harmony Housing. Will they go through central intake? I think they're probably talking about the coordinated entry. So maybe this is kind of for both participants, but trying to understand how families will come to be a part of this community.
A good question. So KHEC Management, the management agent, is actively marketing, I believe, this development now. And they have a website set up. I don't have the address off the top of my head, but I can get it distributed if need be. And so what'll happen is anybody who's interested will go to the website and kind of go onto a wait list, and that becomes the referral source for this initial lease up. Of course, they have to qualify based on their income, and some other factors, regular credit screenings and background checks and kind of any, the typical kind of screenings that you would see when you're renting an apartment, unit, will be applied here as well. But sorry, to answer the question, it's really through our management agents' active marketing. And so tenants should not come through Harmony Housing. We're the development agent. They'll go through the management agent instead.
Yeah, I think if interested, they should go ahead and get on that list. If people that would be probably from the KHEC website that Elena mentioned. And then
And
they'll have
Families
to go.
Together will be engaged with that process as well.
Yes, that's correct.
And that is answering another question. I think somebody wanted some clarity on management company, and you are working with the management company, which you just referenced.
Mhm.
And bear with me as I scroll through these questions. So there's a question as to how families will be prioritized, but I'm assuming that this will happen at the level of the management company. But maybe talk about those 40 supportive housing units, because I'm sure that will come into play as well with that prioritization of families.
Yeah, I'm not sure prioritization is a great term because I don't want it to make it sound like somebody gets in ahead of somebody else. But essentially, like there will be buckets of units available. So there's a certain amount dedicated to 30% tenant AMI tenants, all the way, and then 60% AMI tenants. And so as applications are received, and people's qualification factors are screened, then I think the management agent works within those groupings to fit the people who are interested in living on the property to what units are available that matches up with their needs. And then you're right, there are 40 units that are designated specifically for Wake County's supportive service. I forget the name of it. The acronym is WAP.
Yeah.
So their specific supportive program, they are providing vouchers, rental assistance vouchers to 40 of the units on site. And so they will have priority in the sense that they're going to be sending their own list of referrals for tenants who will still have to go through the same kind of like screening and qualifications system, but Wake County will provide the wait list or the referral source for the management agent to kind of sift through and get tenants moved into those units as well.
So it looks there's also a question about what is the long-term length of stay for families who move into Newbern Crossings? And I suppose this is asking if there's a term limit, I guess.
I don't know that I've ever heard of a term limit. I mean, I think the leases will be 1-year leases, but I don't imagine we're going to restrict any lease renewals.
There's another question. These are more technical for you. Who owns the deed, and is Harmony Housing a nonprofit?
Harmony Housing Affordable Development is actually a for-profit subsidiary of Harmony Housing, which is nonprofit. It's a nonprofit organization that owns our small group. So our division specifically is actually for-profit. And then I would have to pull up the paperwork for who's on the ownership of the deed. We are in the ownership structure of the business, though, of the entity owning the development. Sorry.
Thank you, Elena. And this is for Jen. How can faith groups in the city of Raleigh be supporting this project or even supporting the growth of the community within this development come fall?
Well, thank you for that question. We envision that we will have volunteer groups on the site helping out with some of these, the support services that we'll be offering. So it could be, a facilitator of a workshop or helping to organize a community picnic. Those kinds of activities offering, actually, I met someone at a church mission fair just over on Sunday who he said he was interested in teaching computer classes. And that would be a great, way to share your expertise by coming on site and leading classes like that, tutoring for children, things like that. So we have a volunteer and outreach coordinator, and she will be organizing and putting out information to the community about how to support this effort from a volunteer's perspective. Also, we always are looking for faith groups, new faith groups who want to get involved and partner with us. So please reach out. My contact information will be on a slide at the end of this presentation. Go to our website, familiestogethernc.org, and will be, and also financial support. We also will need donations to support the support services that we'll be offering. This is an expansion of the work we're already doing. It's new, and so we are actively raising funds for the project currently as well.
Excellent. And we'll just take a moment to look through any other questions that may have come up. A couple of people did ask about staffing, and so I somewhat know the answer to that is that there will be an open position posted at some point in the next several weeks for that position. So it will be on the familiestogethernc.org website. And someone said, we are so excited about this lovely addition to our neighborhood. So yes, we are too. I think I speak for everyone on this Zoom that we are. I think that does it for the questions. And it looks like, yes, that does it for the questions. So I think, Jen, I will turn it over to you to take us home.
Okay, well, thank you. Thanks, Kelly. Thank you, Elena, for being here, for sharing your time and your expertise with us, and for the partnership with Harmony Housing Affordable Development. And also thank you to everyone here attending this event. We really appreciate you taking time out from your day to join us. The Families Together is in a spring campaign. As I mentioned a moment ago, we are raising funds for this, for the support services coordination and programming that we will be offering at Newbern Crossings. And we will be having 1 week from today, a triple impact match day. We have a challenge match fund of $66,500 raised from numerous very generous donors in the community, and that will give you the opportunity to give on May 6th and have the impact of your donation tripled. So from $100 to $300 when you combine it with the match fund. It's a great day to increase, to have a greater impact with your philanthropic giving. So just consider that as a way to make a difference in this exciting project. You can go to familiestogethernc.org to learn more. There is a QR code right there. You can also scan that if you have your phone with you. And just go to our website to learn more about how you can invest in this exciting project and help us grow our mission and our impact in Wake County. So thank you for that. And then finally, I just want to say thank you again for attending. We appreciate very much your interest in this project, in the exciting work of Harmony Housing. We are looking to potentially partner on more projects with Harmony Housing, and have had discussions about some potential projects that are going to come down in the coming years, and we hope that this will be a great model that will then lead into those next projects. And again, thank you, Elena. Our contact information is here on this slide. Feel free to reach out to either one of us if you have any questions that come up after this, or ideas, resources you want to share with us. We would love to hear. And again, we have recorded this event, and a link to that recording will be shared and also posted, I believe, on our website. So that's it. Thank you. Thanks, Elena. Thank you, Kelly.
Thank you.
Really appreciate the conversation today.
Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, oh, absolutely. Thanks everyone for attending. Take care.
You too. Bye.